The roar of an unseen crowd echoes through the air, their cheers blending into an electric hum of anticipation. In a realm beyond time, where legends are no longer bound by the limits of mortality, two of the greatest fighters the world has ever known stand face to face. Bruce Lee, the master of Jeet Kune Do, his body coiled like a panther ready to strike. Muhammad Ali, the king of the ring, his stance light, his footwork poetry in motion. Two warriors, each defining their era, now locked in a battle that history never got to witness until now. A gust of wind sweeps across the arena, though no source can be seen. It's as if the universe itself holds its breath, waiting for the first move. The contrast between them is striking. Bruce, compact yet explosive, eyes locked onto Ali with razor-sharp focus. Ali, tall and fluid, a presence so commanding that even silence feels loud in his presence. This is not just a fight. It's a clash of philosophies, of discipline versus charisma, of speed versus strategy. And the question that has echoed for decades is about to be answered. Who would truly reign supreme? The silence is shattered by a slight shift in Ali's stance, his signature shuffle beginning, the prelude to a dance of power and precision. Bruce doesn't flinch. His mind, trained to react at speeds beyond comprehension, processes every flicker of movement. He knows Ali's style is built on rhythm, on forcing opponents to fall into his pattern before striking with devastating force. But Bruce is no ordinary opponent. He doesn't follow rhythms, he disrupts them. His body is a weapon forged through relentless discipline, his reflexes honed to the point where instinct and calculation become one. Ali feints, his left shoulder dipping ever so slightly, testing the waters. Bruce's muscles tense, but he doesn't commit just yet. He sees the feint for what it is, a lure, a trap meant to draw a premature reaction. Ali smiles, sensing Bruce's patience. He's used to opponents rushing in, desperate to close the gap, falling right into his counter. But this is different. There's no desperation in Bruce's stance, only the eerie stillness of a man who controls the space around him like an extension of his will. Then, like lightning striking without warning, Bruce explodes forward. His feet barely seem to touch the ground as he closes the distance in a blink, launching a blindingly fast sidekick aimed at Ali's midsection. But Ali, gifted with reactions that defy logic, twists just in time, the kick grazing his ribs, but failing to land flush. A counterpunch flies out instinctively, a right hand with enough force to stagger heavyweights. Bruce sees it, but the sheer speed is astonishing. He jerks his head back, feeling the wind of Ali's fist passing within millimeters of his chin. They break apart, circling. Ali grins, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Not bad, his eyes say without words. Bruce remains unreadable, adjusting his weight ever so slightly, already analyzing. That first exchange revealed more than it seemed. Ali's reach is a problem. Bruce felt it the moment he stepped in. His power, undeniable. But Bruce also noticed something else, a rhythm, a heartbeat to Ali's movements, a pattern waiting to be disrupted. Ali feints again, but Bruce doesn't bite. Instead, he shifts his foot just enough to hint at a step forward. It's almost imperceptible, but Ali reacts instinctively, preparing to counter. In that fraction of a second, Bruce sees it, the opening he was waiting for. Without hesitation, he launches forward, but this time, it's not a kick. It's a blur of motion, a rapid 1-inch punch aimed at Ali's chest. The impact is small, almost invisible, but Ali feels it, a force that shouldn't exist in such a compact strike. His balance wavers for the first time. The crowd, though unseen, seems to lean forward in anticipation. This is just the beginning. The opening chapter of a battle that defies time and space. Neither man is here to lose, and neither will back down. The question still lingers in the air, unanswered. Bruce Lee, the master of adaptability versus Muhammad Ali, the genius of the sweet science. One moment of hesitation could mean defeat. But in a fight between legends, hesitation is a luxury neither can afford. Ali exhales, rolling his shoulders as he steadies himself, the phantom sensation of Bruce's strike lingering in his chest. It wasn't the force that caught him off guard. It was the precision, the unnatural speed. He's fought the best, danced with titans, taken blows from men twice Bruce's size, yet never before has an opponent felt so untouchable. Bruce, on the other hand, remains unreadable, his expression carved from stone, eyes scanning Ali like a puzzle waiting to be solved. He's seen it now, the briefest crack in Ali's rhythm, the way his body instinctively shifts before committing to a strike. The battle has barely begun, but already the layers of strategy unfold beneath the surface. Somewhere beyond the bounds of this surreal arena, the echoes of history whisper. The world once debated this very question: what would happen if Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali ever met in combat? It was a thought experiment passed between fans, martial artists, and analysts, each offering theories, none with answers. Ali, the supreme boxer, whose footwork could make a bigger man seem weightless, whose hands carried the power of a wrecking ball. Bruce, the philosopher of combat, a master of fluid adaptation, who believed in no style, only what worked. The debate raged for decades, yet the answer never came. But now, through forces unknown, that answer is unfolding before their very eyes. Ali shifts, feinting with his left before pivoting, letting his weight carry into a right cross. This time, it's not a test, it's real. The punch cuts through the air, aimed with surgical precision. But Bruce is already gone. Not backward, not sideways down. He drops low, barely an inch above the ground, slipping beneath Ali's strike in a way that defies natural movement. In that instant, time slows. Bruce sees the opening, his body coiling like a spring, preparing to explode upward. But Ali isn't a step behind, he's right there with him, his instincts honed through years of battle. The moment Bruce moves, Ali pivots, adjusting mid-strike, bringing up his knee to intercept. A clash of timing, a battle of reflexes. Bruce twists mid-motion, barely avoiding the collision, his foot grazing the ground before he redirects himself. He launches a short elbow toward Ali's ribs, but Ali turns just enough to absorb the impact across his side, diffusing the power. The two disengage once more, breathing steady, neither willing to show weakness. But beneath the surface, the calculations continue. Bruce has never faced a boxer like Ali, one whose awareness matches his own, whose movement isn't just defensive, but part of an intricate dance of attack and evasion. And Ali has never encountered someone like Bruce, a fighter who doesn't just react, but anticipates, someone whose body moves as if untethered by traditional human limitations. In the unseen stands of this impossible arena, silent figures watch, their forms shifting like shadows. Are they spectators from another time? Echoes of the past? Or something else entirely? The fighters don't acknowledge them. Perhaps they can't see them, or perhaps they know better than to question the forces that brought them here. The air feels charged, as if the very fabric of reality bends around the weight of this encounter. Ali's voice finally breaks the silence, his words smooth, carrying that effortless confidence that made him a legend. "You're fast," he says, rolling his wrist, his grin never fading. "But speed don't mean nothing if you can't land the big one." Bruce doesn't respond, but there's a shift in his stance, an acknowledgement in the way his muscles tighten, the faintest smirk appearing at the corner of his lips. He doesn't speak often during combat. His philosophy has always been that words are unnecessary when action speaks louder. But even he can appreciate the mind games at play. The world around them seems to tighten, the space between them shrinking as their movements grow sharper, more calculated. Bruce steps in again, this time feinting a kick before twisting into a back fist aimed at Ali's temple. Ali slips it by the smallest margin, his counterstrike already in motion. A left jab snaps out, a blur even to trained eyes. Bruce intercepts, deflecting it with an open palm. But Ali is relentless. His right hand follows instantly, his famous anchor punch snapping forward. Bruce barely manages to sway to the side, the force of the punch passing within a breath of his cheek. They separate again, but this time, the crowd, if it exists, feels different. The tempo is shifting, the stakes rising. Both men now understand something crucial. This is not a match that can be won by tricks or endurance alone. This is a battle of minds as much as fists. Every exchange is a conversation, every movement, a statement. Ali, the strategist, the showman, the master of rhythm. Bruce, the philosopher, the scientist of combat, the one who refuses to follow any rule but his own. Somewhere, unseen forces stir. The ground trembles ever so slightly, as if the very concept of this battle is straining the fabric of reality. There is something more at play here, something neither man fully understands yet. But for now, none of that matters. Only the fight exists, and neither is willing to lose. A strange ripple moves through the air, unseen but deeply felt, like a shift in gravity, like the very rules of this battle are beginning to unravel. Neither fighter acknowledges it, not yet, but their instincts register something is off. Bruce narrows his eyes, his mind absorbing every detail, while Ali keeps his focus sharp, bouncing on his feet, ever the master of controlled movement. They have been here for minutes, hours. Time has lost its meaning. All that remains is the fight. Bruce steps forward, his body a blur as he delivers a strike aimed directly at Ali's sternum, fast enough to be almost imperceptible. But Ali, ever the master of distance, shifts just enough, the blow skimming past as he counters with a quick left, followed by a thunderous right hook. Bruce sees the punch coming, but realizes something strange. Ali's movement is different this time. Faster, sharper, as if the very space around them is accelerating, warping the natural flow of time. Bruce barely evades, twisting his torso in a way that seems impossible, his breath steady, even as Ali's knuckles graze the edge of his sleeve. Then it happens. The world around them flickers just for an instant, like an old film reel skipping a frame. The unseen crowd, the shifting shadows in the stands, all seem to pulse with an eerie distortion. Bruce lands lightly on the ground, his senses flaring as he glances around. Ali, too, hesitates for the first time, his brow furrowing as his fists lower a fraction of an inch. The arena, the space that had felt infinite and unknowable, now feels smaller, almost unstable. The ground beneath them hums, an energy building in the air, something neither fighter can explain. Ali's voice breaks the silence, though his usual playful confidence is laced with something else now: uncertainty. "Tell me you saw that," he says, not as a challenge, but as a man searching for confirmation. Bruce nods once, his stance still coiled, ready for anything. He doesn't need to say it. He saw it. He felt it. The rules of this reality are shifting, and they are no longer in control. Then, from the far edge of the arena, something moves. A ripple in space, bending the light like a curtain being pulled back. It's subtle at first, then unmistakable, a figure forming in the distortion, half seen, half hidden. Ali and Bruce turn in unison, their battle momentarily forgotten. The shape flickers, shifts, then solidifies. A presence neither of them expected. The figure steps forward, its features still indistinct, but the energy surrounding it is undeniable. A third combatant? A force beyond their understanding? Or something else entirely? The atmosphere grows heavier, the weight of the unknown pressing against them. Bruce clenches his fists, his muscles coiled, ready to react. Ali tilts his head, his body still loose, but his eyes locked onto the figure with the same sharpness he once reserved for challengers in the ring. The fight they thought was theirs alone is no longer just between them. Something else is here, watching, waiting. And in that moment, one thing becomes clear: whatever force brought them here, it hasn't revealed its true purpose yet. And neither Bruce nor Ali knows what happens next. The presence before them grows sharper, solidifying from shifting light into something tangible, something real. It isn't a ghost or an illusion, it's a man. The figure steps forward with an air of quiet authority, his movements seamless, his expression calm yet unreadable. The way he carries himself is eerily familiar, not just to Bruce and Ali, but to anyone who has ever studied the art of combat. His stance, his energy, he is a warrior, one who has walked the path of discipline and mastery just as they have. Bruce's breath steadies, his instincts flaring in ways he cannot explain. Ali, though always one to face the unknown with confidence, feels something deep in his gut, a sensation he has never quite experienced. Neither of them speaks, but the weight of the moment is undeniable. The figure's presence doesn't just disrupt their fight, it changes everything. He is neither referee nor observer. He is here for something more. Then, without warning, he moves. A shift, a blur of speed, so sudden that even Bruce, who has spent his life refining reaction time to an almost inhuman level, barely registers it. The man is between them in an instant, his hands moving with a grace that defies logic. A single palm presses gently against Ali's chest, a force not meant to attack but to test. Ali stumbles back a step, his body reacting as if struck by something far greater than just a touch. Bruce, sensing the moment, shifts his weight, preparing to counter, but before he can, the man turns, his other hand sweeping toward him. It is not an attack, it is a lesson. Bruce parries, but the energy behind the movement is something else entirely. Not brute strength, not raw speed, something deeper, something older. His body absorbs the impact, but his mind races to understand. This man, whoever he is, fights with a presence that neither Ali nor Bruce has ever encountered before. There is no wasted motion, no unnecessary aggression, just pure, controlled power. Ali steadies himself, his competitive spirit igniting. "All right," he mutters, rolling his neck. "I don't know who you are, but you just made yourself a part of this." His feet begin to move, that familiar rhythm returning, his instincts kicking in. Bruce, too, adjusts, his body lowering into a stance that is neither offensive nor defensive but fluid, prepared for whatever comes next. And then everything shifts. The arena trembles, the very air around them seeming to fold in on itself. The unseen crowd vanishes, the strange energy that has been lingering finally revealing its purpose. This was never just a fight. It was a test. The space they stand in is no ordinary battlefield. It is something beyond their understanding, a place where time and reality blur, where warriors are summoned not to prove dominance, but to evolve. The man before them, whoever he may be, offers no name, no explanation. He only nods, a knowing look in his eyes, before stepping back. His presence begins to fade, dissolving like mist, leaving only an unspoken truth behind. Bruce and Ali glance at each other, the weight of what just happened sinking in. This battle was never about victory or defeat. It was about pushing limits, about discovering something beyond skill or strength. For the first time, there is no need for words between them, only understanding. As the strange world around them begins to dissolve, as reality reasserts itself, one final thought lingers in the air. The question that brought them here, the one that had been debated for generations, was never truly meant to have an answer. Because legends are not defined by who would win in a fight. They are defined by what they leave behind. A heartbeat later, the world returns to silence. The battle is over, but its echoes will last forever.